Hello, welcome to Practically Magic. I am your host, Courtney Pearl, and this is our other host,
Jamie Osbahr.
We're at Rising Moon Minerals again and talking about crystals. Look at how beautiful it is.
I love when the sun is in the windows like that.
Yeah.
It's
And we're
like
finally at the season where it's not shining directly at our face.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
So
say.
it's just this nice glow and all the crystals. And we were just talking as we were setting up how it just feels like this massive space, but it's not. It's a small space.
It's a small space. We have a lot in here, though. It's just interesting to see the reactions from people. So there's a lot of people that come in and they go, wow, you have a lot in here. Wow, this is really cool.
It feels like a huge store
Yeah.
when you walk in. And I think it's kind of magical. I think it's like clown car magical because you're like, how is that tiny little car? All
That's
those
so
clowns
nice.
coming out. But you come in and you're like, this is a full crystal shop. Like any other size, any other crystal shop you would go into that's a full size store or something it's just like that.
It's all packed into the small space.
It's just packed in the small space. But I love it. And all the light. It's a great space. Also, I just wanted to point out, you had some food left in here last night?
Yes.
I can't smell it.
Well, it was in a bag and it was tied up.
Yeah,
So
it was fine.
Yeah.
Got thrown out this morning. I'm just pointing it out because I came in here and it smells so good in here.
And that's another compliment that we get a lot. People will walk in and go, oh, it smells so good. Yeah, we
My
keep it
allergies
clean. We keep it not just like physically clean, but we keep it energetically
clean. Yeah.
So with the sage and the apollo and the incense and yeah, all the things.
So come and check it out. We're going to talk a little bit more about crystals too as we talk about our topic today. But I pulled a card from, I don't know what made me think of it today. I think it's just the season. I don't typically use this deck very often. In fact, I got it because I wanted to use it mostly with my kids. It's a really good oracle deck for kids. It's called the Prairie Majesty Oracle. And it's kind of nature inspired and whimsical. And each card comes with like a question or something to ponder over. So I pulled a card from this one and I pulled the Great Horned Owl. You can kind of see the artwork on this one. It's really fun, playful, simple. Most of them are colorful. Lots of patterns and things. Talking about the art. I like and the composition is really nice. So this one comes with the word hear, as in listening. And it says, what am I listening for? What did you think of when you saw that?
There's a lot of things that come to mind. Right now in my life, it's expectations, right? Setting expectations, getting into a situation without setting clear expectations or boundaries or guidelines. So I think that's where my mind goes is I'm listening for clarity. I'm listening for that boundary and I'm listening for what you want. And then I want to be able to express what I want, right? So it's kind of, that's kind of what comes to mind, but that's because of what's going on in my life right now,
Yeah.
So,
and it's interesting, like listening and hearing is all part of the throat chakra too. As well as, expressing yourself in voice. But I find that that's a skill I really need to work on is listening, because I think sometimes I just jump to, I know what you're trying to say. I think I know what you want. And then sometimes that gets me into trouble. But it also doesn't make the other person feel seen and feel heard and they're allowed to take up the space that they need to talk it out or they need to say the thing. So I'm working on that. I think that's a good, a point of reference to be like, I need to be a better listener. It's not always about me. It's not always about what I want to say.
I don't have to solve the problem. I think that comes to mind a lot. And it is interesting when people come in to the crystal shop here and they start shopping around. This is one that people don't come in and they go, what can I use for better communication? Because I don't think people realize that that's what they need to focus on immediately, right? So like, how do I get more self-love? How do I protect myself? Those are like bigger and more simple questions to ask. And they know that they can get a crystal that will support that. But I think a lot of times what I notice is people will start shopping around and they'll start gravitating towards the blue crystals and they'll
Mhm.
start picking them up and they'll start reading the cards or they'll start asking about them.
Yeah.
And when they bring something to me and they're like, I really like this crystal. What is it good for? And it's blue. So I'll be like, okay, well, when we're talking about blue crystals, we're talking about the throat chakra, we're talking about communication, but it's not just you trying to be a clear communicator to others. It's also maybe you're struggling to hear what other people are saying.
Yeah.
And maybe you're having a hard time understanding other
Mhm.
people. And a lot of times, too, it's our inner voice. It's how we talk to ourselves.
Mhm.
So I try to broaden that whole throat chakra. The lines of communication are very broad. It's what's going out, it's what's coming in. It's a leaf blower
A leaf blower.
while we're trying to
You're like,
have a
"Woo!"
conversation.
No, that's just if we could just get him to blow it right at us, and then we look like we're a supermodel, the
Then he
wind
doesn't like it.
blowing in
He's
our
like,
hair. Yeah.
excuse me, sir, I was taking a
Excuse me.
nap. You're being
Middle
very
of a podcast
noisy.
here.
But yeah, so that comes to mind too is how are we hearing other people? What
Mhm.
are we really stopping and listening to what they're saying and asking clarifying questions? Or are we saying, oh, I hear you, but do it this way?
Yeah.
Right. So, like you were saying, sometimes it's easy to kind of jump to, oh, I have the answer for that. Let me fix it for you.
Yeah.
Rather than listening and saying, well, how does that make you feel? And what do you think would be the best path forward? And how do you want to approach it? Right. It's so easy to just be that problem solver.
It is. I think that, especially because some of us feel our passion and our calling in life is to help people or to, yeah, want to show up for people, be that community person that people would go to for wisdom or for advice. And I remember being a little kid and thinking, what a cool job that would be. We used to listen to Dr. Laura on the radio, which now I look back and go,
Oh, okay.
yikes. But um, I loved as a kid the idea that people would call in just to hear what she had to say.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think there's a part of me that feeds my ego.
Mm.
So my ego, I mean, it's a really, ooh, this actually is a great segue into what we're going to talk about today. But it's a great practice in if you are a healer, if you're a therapist, if you're any kind of you do show up for other people in a professional setting, to have a grounding practice or to have something at the beginning. I always start a session, or if I'm going to be, infusing a crystal grid with Reiki for a particular purpose, I start out by saying, I need help. Talk to my higher power, talk to the goddess. And I say, please set my ego aside so I can just be a vessel for healing. And that's one of the I can feel the difference when I use that phrasing versus, if I just went into a healing session, because it's not about me. It's not about me playing a role for someone else in their life. It's about what messages need to come through for them, what needs to happen. It's their healing. And so a lot of that is listening to what they have to say. And yeah. So like we're going to talk about grounding today. So that's why it's a great segue, because I didn't even think about that. But before practicing anything, whatever your rituals of grounding practices are, that's a really great way to start any kind of ritual. I don't know if any of you have done a breathwork session, a meditation, anything like that. Oftentimes you'll find that the very first thing that they do is they say, plant your feet on the floor, and they start with grounding. So have you done grounding? Sometimes it's called earthing, but
Mm.
like putting your bare feet on the ground is what they call that.
Yeah. Clear my throat. Excuse me.
It's that throat
Cut that
chakra
part
stuff.
out.
That's okay. It's human.
I'm learning. I'm still in the process of learning how to ground myself, and sometimes I need a little push. There, recent events. they don't feel so recent, but they were pretty recent, where I would get up in my head a lot and I would get really anxious and I would get very emotional and I would get lost in all of that. And I remember getting on the phone with a friend and going, I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to do. I don't know what to do. And she's like, go outside.
Mhm.
Put your electronics away, put your phone away, put everything away, turn everything off, walk away from it, go outside and be in the earth. And I was like, okay. I mean, I was at a point where I was willing to try anything. If she told me to take meth at that point, I probably would. Because I was just
It's
like,
pretty
I was
desperate when things
so
are
distraught. I was so lost. I was really willing to just listen to and take any advice at that point. So luckily, I was talking to somebody trustworthy that had my best interests at heart. So I did. I put everything away. I went outside. I was in my front yard, and I stood there with bare feet, and it was cold. It was March. Yeah, so it was still pretty chilly outside. But I went outside. I was still in my pajamas, and I just stood there, and I just put my hands out, and I put my head up to the sky, and I was just like, "Please." I was just begging. I was like, "Please help me." And I ended up sitting in the ground, and sometimes that's a little
Mm.
bit better for me because I feel like that's my root, like, right there
Yeah.
against the earth, and as I put my head up towards the sky and I closed my eyes, behind my eyes, it was red, and I was like, "Well, yeah, that happens when the sun is in your face, right?" But then it started to cycle through. It went from red to yellow to green, and I was like, "Hold on." And I had to really stop and think about what was going on, but it was balancing my chakras at
Mhm.
that very moment without even trying. It was like, "This is what you need right now, and we're gonna give this to you." And I was in a place where I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna feel this." I started to get chills up and down my body and just feeling like, "Okay, I'm being held right now. The universe is holding me, and I am rooting myself in the earth."
Yeah.
And eventually, it was just like I had one more just complete breakdown. I went inside and just threw my arms around my husband, and he held me, and I cried, and I said, "Okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with this." And he's like, "Okay, good. What can I do for you?" And we went forward from there. It was just
Yeah.
like,
That's powerful.
yeah, and I still get tears in my eyes thinking about it right now because it was so powerful and overwhelming that I was like, I needed that so much in that very moment that I think about that a lot when I start to get up in my head and I start to feel very anxious and lost.
Mhm.
That's the only word I can really use. Like emotionally, I'm just lost. I'm out floating through the ether and like I don't know what else to do. I'll grab a crystal, and this is my go-to just because I feel so connected to the crystals. I'll grab a crystal. My go-to for grounding is black tourmaline.
Mhm.
Love, love the feeling of black tourmaline. I've
Mhm.
actually felt it pull that energy out of me into itself.
Yeah.
So that's what I go to, but a lot of times I'll just kind of hold my hands over my crystals and I'll grab one that was like, okay, this is what I need, and I'll put it in my pocket or I'll put it on my wrist or
Yeah.
I'll just kind of hold it with me. A lot of times I'll sleep with it on my chest and I can just feel it like pull that energy out
Yeah.
of me. So
And
not
it can pull it down too, in that,
Mhm.
like, if you are disassociating, I know I feel that a lot too when either you're too much in your head, like you
Mhm.
said, but it's also like a I've up and left
Yes.
kind of a feeling. I'm watching my life happen from somewhere else
Yeah.
is almost how it feels.
Yeah.
And we all have coping strategies, especially those of us who've experienced trauma. Disassociating is actually a
Trauma
trauma
response.
response, and it's not bad. Even in the mental health community, they're like, there's a reason we do that, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it can impact our lives in such negative ways if we cannot fully be present in our lives, in our bodies, and uh, fully addressing what's happening, like in the here and now.
Mhm.
So that can feel, yeah, like a separation of spirit and body is the spiritual way to explain it. It feels like there are times in our lives where we've disassociated, we've left our body, and now we're watching
Mhm.
events happen from somewhere else. We're
Right.
like, it's okay because that, whatever she's going through, it's not me. I'm over here.
Yeah. We'll deal with whatever's happening down there later.
Yeah, and I've talked about on previous episodes, where disassociating in a healthy way can be really productive. I think that as a Pisces sun myself, I think disassociating is my favorite. But that's like, I call it imagination. I call it like living in a reality that I created for myself. And that I think that there can be very positive effects to doing it that way too. But yeah, pulling down to the root, putting you back in your body, reconnecting spirit and body. And I know that you've had, we back issues or like people have pain in their
Mhm.
back. So a lot of times I'll ask questions because especially if it's in the lower back, and I've had family members where they've had to go through surgery. They've got these spinal things going on, and as they get older, it starts to create problems. And so, out of curiosity, I start asking questions. Do you have, did you come from a background of scarcity with money
Mhm.
and things like that? Um, Physical scarcity, typically. I mean, we all have scarcity of time, we have scarcity of love, we have scarcity of a lot of things. But with money and physical objects in particular, there's not enough. Or we were raised with our parents saying things like, money doesn't grow on trees. There's just not enough for that.
Yeah.
Like you get the feeling even at a very young age that, oh, this is something to be hoarded
Mhm.
and
This can be taken
kept,
away from me
this can be
at
taken
any
away.
moment. Yeah.
And a lot of times that translates physically into lower back issues.
Well,
And then you have, again, the root chakra blocks and things like that.
mhm.
So feeling like, at least either money wise or with my family, my immediate family, if there was like maybe a divorce happened at a young age
Why are you calling me
where,
out? Like,
oh,
you're just talking about my life right now.
that wasn't intentional. But yeah,
Uh,
feel free to talk about your experiences if you have them. I just want to point out that those things are very much going to affect your ability to feel safe and secure,
mhm.
and that you felt at some point that place of home, whatever that looked like, either the physical home or the family, could fall apart.
Mhm.
Like it's the floor under your feet went out.
Yep.
And then that greatly affects the ability to stay grounded
Right.
in life and things like that. So,
It is interesting because you've basically just described my childhood just there, by the way. My parents got
oops.
divorced when I was 5. We lived in a very scarce, we were getting supplement from our local church and, other ways that our family of we had 6 children, so a family of 7 when my dad left, that my mom had never even held a job before that.
Mhm.
So, what I mean, like that whole shift into, well, whatever we have to hold on to it. We have to save it and
Yeah.
we can't just use it all the time. So there was a lot of that. There was my dad left. And then what I keep thinking is really interesting is when I had my birth chart read, I am a Taurus sun, a Scorpio rising, and a Capricorn moon. I am like all earth. So I should
Yeah.
be really, really good at grounding. But I think because of my traumas, because
Yeah.
of the things that I've been through, I've learned how to disassociate because that's not where I wanted to be. I don't want to be in my life.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
I tell my kids this all the time when I was growing up. I never wanted to be at home. So I always found a friend whose family felt safe.
Mhm.
And I was always at their house. I would sleep over there all the time. I would get up early before school and go to their house before going to school. And I would go to their house after school for as long as I possibly could until, they had dinner, or I had to go home or whatever it was. But I never wanted to be home
Mm.
because it wasn't where I felt safe. So it was easier for me to let go of that natural ability to ground
Yeah.
because I didn't feel safe there. I
Yeah.
felt safe outside of that where I could disassociate from whatever it was that was happening. So, and now that I'm learning to ground and I'm learning to be present,
Yeah.
it's very uncomfortable sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
That makes
very
sense.
like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
I don't want to be grounded. Can I just go? Can I be up there now? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But I'm learning that I have to be able to do that for myself and I have to be able to deal with what's happening now because it's not going to go away.
Yeah.
And it's better to deal with it now. It's like a dirty dish, right? You
Yeah.
could rinse it and put it in the sink, or you can put it in the sink and it gets crusted and hard, and then you have to scrub
Yeah.
it, right? So that's kind of the way I look at it is let's take care of it now.
Yeah.
Let's resolve what's happening. Let's talk this out. Let's deal with it and
Yeah.
then move on to whatever's next.
Right. And, you're making me realize, well, first of all, your affinity for crystals already, that sort of feels like that way for your body to be like, I am connected to the earth. Like, I
Hmm.
want that connection. So
Yeah.
there's that, it naturally gravitated toward that. But I was thinking about, dealing with, you're saying dealing with it. I just realized over the last couple of weeks, because we had a death in the family.
Mm.
My dog passed away.
Right.
And it's actually perfect time of year to be kind of talking about that as we talk about it's the season of death. It's the season, as we talked about Samhain, we talked about that descent into winter, winter being the metaphorical death. All of the plants and animals go into hibernation. And so it was interesting. I was listening to another podcast of a journalist who was getting engaged with witchcraft and talking to witches, but she herself had never done anything with witches before. She was going to do Samhain with the witches. And she said, all the witches I've ever known are so comfortable with death.
Mm.
I think that's really interesting. Started thinking about that more and more as we were getting ready. Our dog, we were going to have her euthanized. And so we had plenty of time to kind of embrace the idea of her going, and she lived a good long life. She was 15, almost 16 years. She's approaching 16 years old. So for her breed and everything like that, she's even past her life expectancy. So we were really happy that she was so healthy for such a long time. And then I didn't feel any kind of um, like avoidance of it. I felt like I could face it head on and say, this is her last moments. These are her last weeks. These are her last days. And I'm so honored to be there to usher her through it, to
Right.
go with her in that.
Mm.
Um, but in that pattern, I also realized how many people in my family have a pattern of avoiding that altogether. Just
Mm-hmm.
like I can't even talk about it. I can't even look at it or think about it. And not just one person. I mean, I'm looking at my ancestral line, and I'm looking at my husband's ancestral line, his family members and things. And I think, what I find interesting is the people who have been the most avoidant of any kind of pain, emotional or physical, probably have more of it,
Yeah.
more physical and emotional pain than other people, than the
Mhm.
average. And I really think that's something to kind of think about
Yeah.
or look at, is that if you don't deal with the dirty dish, if you aren't willing to face it when it comes, when it's there, when it's present, and say, this is happening, it's in front of me, I have to, there's grief, there's sadness if I'm losing a loved one, or, there's loss or something like that. Or there's a divorce, there's a life change, there's something that's going to cause me pain, rather than I'm going to go avoid it as in every coping way that I can. I'm going to disassociate, or I'm going to avoid thinking about it, or I'm not going to talk about it,
I'll
or I'm
let
not,
someone else deal with
let
it.
someone else deal with it. Whatever it is, whatever the coping strategy is, it's like that dirty dish sitting there is just going to get worse
Yeah.
and worse and worse. Now you have flies and crusty
Yeah.
food that is cemented on. You're never going to get clean. So I wonder energetically just how much of that is, um,
Stuck.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
stuck energy that
Yeah.
when you cannot move it and when you don't face it, it then causes you more and more pain,
Yeah.
more physical, more emotional pain.
It's interesting too because I was thinking about that this morning. Most of my life, I've dealt with health issues, nothing major. I've been through multiple surgeries and things like that. And I feel like it was always like, oh, well, it's that time of year. I get a cold. Oh, it's that time of year and I get allergies. And it's that time of year. So there was always something that explained it. But it was really that I wasn't taking care of my energetic body
Mm-hmm.
because I wasn't willing to even admit that I needed to do that, that it was
Mm.
there, that I needed to pay attention to it. I needed to feed my spirit because I had such a negative experience with organized religion that I was like, well, if that's what spirituality is, I don't want any of it.
Right.
You all can stay away from me. I don't want any of it. And then the crystals came in and they were like, excuse me, hey, there's a better way. You know what I mean? And now that I've learned that there's a better way and I'm walking that path, I'm thinking to myself, I went to take a probiotic because I do that every morning for my health. And I was looking at my medicine cabinet and I was like, huh, it's been a while since I've been sick, like physically ill,
Interesting.
to the point where it was like I had to like stay home. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it was really, really interesting the way that I was thinking about it and the way that that information came to me. And I was like, this is really good information. And it means that maybe I'm doing
Mm.
something right for myself.
Mhm.
And it's not just taking medicine and it's not just exercising and it's not just all the physical.
Mhm.
It's also taking care of your energetic body and
Yeah.
listening to that and being able to ground yourself. I think that's one of the biggest things that I'm learning and that a lot of people don't understand is bringing yourself centered and grounded, right?
Yes.
And a lot of times when people come in and they talk about wanting to be grounded, I'll point out a lot of different crystals and we'll talk about some of them. A lot of them that work the best for me, and it's interesting because I didn't pick one of those to talk about, but one of them that's best for me is one that has a lot of weight to it,
Yes.
like hematite. I've got this hematite sphere in here.
Love it when it's
Yeah,
heavy.
I pick it up and in the palm of my hand, I can feel it just like, ugh, ugh. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just like it brings
Yeah.
me into myself and it just hits center, right? And it's
Mhm.
like, okay, whew, I feel grounded. Yeah, cool. So when people are saying that that's what they're looking for, I'm like, just feel this, and I'll
Yeah.
put it in their hand and like,
Hold it.
ooh,
Imagine sitting on the earth and then just holding it in your lap.
mm,
That's what
yeah,
I think I would feel like I
hmm
wanna do.
yeah, I've done that, and it's,
Still think we should make that hematite weighted blanket
hmm yeah,
and
because we did talk about hematite a couple of episodes ago, right?
yeah, we were talking about protection, which is very similar. I mean, we're there's a lot of overlap in like
Mm-hmm.
protection of your energy and groundedness.
Mm-hmm.
But I think grounding, where we're talking about or earthing, we talk about it in a sense of more like what you're saying in health wise, in taking care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just another side to protection, but I think it's
Yeah, it's layers,
layers.
layers
Yeah.
of what the crystals can do and what we can do for ourselves to take care of our energetic bodies.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's the crystals are a support to that. The way that they work for
Yeah.
me is it's a reminder, hey, you can do this and I'm here to support you,
Yeah.
right? Hold me, put me next to you, wear me, whatever it is that you feel like you need to do, and I'll support you through it, right? Like it's an amazing thing that I've experienced, and that's why the crystal shop is here, why I'm here is
Yeah.
I wanna share that with other people. I wanna
Yeah.
show other people, "Hey, you don't have to do anything crazy or big or anything spend a ton of money, really.
Mm.
You just feel."
And embrace what your body needs. Like
Mhm.
listen as we go back to listening, listen to what your body needs. Your body is telling you, like when it's attracted or when it feels that comfort from the crystal. And I'm thinking about the studies. There's been something around the range of 20 different studies done about grounding to scientifically explain what might be happening there. And there's a lot of theories of, the molecules in your body that are not well, I can't remember what they're called, but they're not assigned. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, or they're whatever.
They're not grounded.
That grounding can be a process of neutralizing those molecules. And there's some studies that they're kind of doing the research on about the electrons, the negatively charged electrons in the body, and again, associating that connection to the body and the earth when we're doing grounding. Um, But when I'm reading about this in preparation for today's episode, I thought it was interesting. There was this whole bit about it being placebo effect, and there isn't proof that it's not a placebo effect just yet. There's still ongoing research and experiments happening with grounding and what it's doing. But here's what I find interesting. If the effects of believing in it are the same, because I've had spiritual mentors that are like, okay, so if you can't get yourself outside, if you can't actually physically put your bare feet on the earth and ground, you can do it in meditation. You can put your feet flat on the ground. You need to visualize your feet almost like growing roots and connecting to the ground below you. And they're finding that, the effects of grounding with people who have actually been on the earth and people who are visualizing it that are the same. So I know in science, that's a whole experiment to find out whether or not it's real or true, or is it really doing anything? I find it fascinating because I think, what if our minds are really that powerful? What if that's just proof that we are powerful enough in the visualization of connecting with the earth, we can actually neutralize our bodies?
Wow.
And physically, they've shown some effects like anti-inflammatory effects and, physically in the body, it being healthy for you. So whether it's placebo effect or not, I don't think matters. I think that if it has the effects you're looking for and it actually does that for you, do it.
Yeah. Right.
Don't question it.
Yeah.
Be like, I need the science. I need the facts. It's like, well, okay. But also, if it
If it works.
works, do it.
Yeah.
And I think I think it's interesting that so much of science is just confirming what we knew and called it magic and woo woo all along. So there's like Native American folklore, probably a lot of people are familiar with, where the creation story of man is we were created out of clay, right? I remember reading or learning about that when I was in elementary school, and I thought, oh my gosh, how silly, because we were raised in church, and it was like God created you and all the things.
This one man up in the sky just went, woo.
Yeah,
And it wasn't magic, though.
no,
It wasn't
that's
magic.
facts.
It was just
So
him like, woo. Ooh, dinosaurs. No, no more dinosaurs. Oh.
yeah, in 7 days. But for some reason, that's not mythology
No,
or folklore.
it's fact because it's in the Bible.
So this idea that man was created out of clay, and I love that, yes, it's a folklore, it's a story, but what if, Native American folklore, they told that story to their kids, um, and that was passed on for generations, that this is how we were created. We were created out of the clay of the earth. And that was just their way of explaining how we're all carbon-based life forms and that we're all from the earth. And I mean, you can totally see the connection in the thread there of where that comes from. And why, when we're drawn to crystals or where our bodies react to crystals and things that come from the earth, our bodies are recognizing something in that's in our DNA, it's in our makeup, it's in our molecules, it's what we are made of.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's just theory. It's all theory.
Yeah.
No matter what it is that you believe in,
Yeah.
nothing's proven. We don't know where we came from. We don't know how we were created.
Could be an
But
alien race.
yeah, it's all theory. So I think it all just comes down to do what feels good.
Yeah.
Right? Do what feels good to you. Don't just go off of what other people are telling you. Don't just go off of, the way that you were raised. Take the leap. Go in. And it took me a really long time to do that in my life. But I'm so glad that I did. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so glad because I've found so many ways to live in my authentic self this way. And I think that's what it really matters, what it really comes down to. It doesn't matter how old you are, what you've been through in your life. If you're able to take that step forward rather than just being stuck. I felt like I was so stuck for so long that when I finally took that step forward, it was like, oh my gosh, what have I been doing? And it was like this awakening and this understanding of there is a better way for me. And just because it was better for me doesn't mean it was better for somebody else. But I want to be able to share my experience, my story, so that if somebody else is feeling stuck,
they might be lost,
they can just take that one little step forward and go, oh, this is cool. and then
maybe this.
play with it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah. And most likely if you're listening, I mean, who knows? There may be some listeners who are like, I don't really believe in this woo-woo stuff. I always say it like that because you know what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So I know there's people that are like, I want to hear the science behind it. And I try to offer some of that explanation too, so that, you know, there's more to dive into that. There's more going on here than is just people going, I believe the rocks speak to me. And that's it. There's more to it than that. There's a lot of actual research being done about this, and that there are positive benefits to grounding and earthing. And even as I've talked about on other shows we've talked about, like when you have jet lag, that grounding can be a way to reacclimate yourself to the time zone that you're in. And that has proven to be very effective for a lot of people. Now, are there people who are like, I tried it and it didn't work and I still had jet lag? Sure.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, I mean, step into the realm of belief for no other reason than it could benefit my life. It could benefit me if I believe that it does. If there's a placebo effect to it, then fine. Let yourself get the benefits of that placebo effect. And for those of you who are here because you are like, no, you don't need to convince me. I totally believe in all this stuff.
Yeah.
I will say that grounding is a really important practice for any kind of ritual that you're going to engage in. So in your meditation, when I'm reading cards, when I'm participating in divination, if I'm going to do any kind of channeling or scrying or any sort of practice where I'm going to be stepping probably into the higher realms, right? So I'm coming from down here, but I'm going to maybe astral project, or I'm going to leave my body, or I'm going to be open in my crown chakra to receiving divine messages and downloads and channeling, for lack of a better word. Anything that I'm going to be doing, and that includes sessions with clients, because I'm definitely opening myself up when I'm doing that. It has to start with a sort of ritual practice of grounding. And that might look like, for those who are more in the witchcraft realm, it looks like warding and protecting too. It can look like I am keeping one thread connected to the earth. My chakra is balanced so that if I am up here in this realm, I'm not totally up there all 100% in.
Yeah.
Because I could be lost. And then it's really hard to get back. It's really hard to kind of center yourself. Then you kind of walk around for the rest of the day. You know that feeling where you kind of feel like you're in a dream, but you're not. And you're like, why can't I focus? Why can't I be present in what I'm doing? I've given like presentations in that state, and people probably looked at me like, are you dumb? I'm like talking to a room full of people and I'm like, yeah. So hold on. And that's what it looks like when you're not grounded. Like, where is my body? I don't know where I am.
Right.
The information's in there somewhere, but it's not coming out my mouth hole. It's not happening. So yeah, I sit like, and I do a little ritual when I'm getting ready to read cards. If I'm doing card readings, I will have a grounding ritual, and I will also kind of ward the space. So warding is like creating that boundary or circle. So for witches, it can be like casting the circle. Like sometimes it's calling in the elements and the directions. Just depends on your practice. But it also creates this like protection boundary around that. So warding and then protecting. And you're like, this is a sacred space where I'm going to be doing this work. And while, yes, I can be transcending to other realms, if you will, I'm also present in my body and here and ready to do the work.
Yeah.
How does that feel to you?
Yeah. That feels interesting. It makes sense. Anytime you're opening yourself up, and I don't do a lot of that. So as you're talking about it, I can envision it. I still am looking for safety and a lot of times I don't have the preparation, and I'm here in the shop, and someone comes in and it's like, it just happens, right? So it's almost like I almost
Yeah.
always have to be able to be grounded. So, and as I'm
Mhm.
learning to do it, it's coming more naturally, and I will almost always have something black on me. I'm wearing
Mm.
bracelets, my earrings, something, and I just now realized that that's become subconscious for me
Mm.
because now that I know that I need that, and I'm also an empath, so learning how to shed other people's energy and protect myself from absorbing that, I've learned I have to have protection on me. I can't just like have it
Yeah.
around me. It has to be on my physical body.
Yeah.
So,
It influences your energetic space, the aura, and
mhm,
everything that you're projecting out and for that 5 feet around you.
right. So just understanding that um
I just have to point out, I love this. Two slightly older than us ladies, uh, and one is wearing a happy birthday crown and a happy birthday sash.
I love it. So
And I'm
cute.
like, that's me. I just hope that someday I have someone to go to the movies with that's gonna like let me wear my happy birthday sash and my happy birthday crown.
And she's gonna be like, "That's my bestie. It's her
With my
birthday."
bestie. Oh my gosh.
That's
It's just
funny.
too adorable.
Ugh,
It's just too wonderful. Good for her wearing a
yes,
crown.
good
I always
girl.
wear a tiara or a crown on my birthday. And I feel like everybody should, but not everybody's a Leo like me. I'm Leo moon. And I think that's a Leo thing.
Oh
Is
yeah.
like, I want the attention on me. Here's my crown on my head. But everybody's birthday, I'm like, are you going to wear a crown? Are you going to wear a tiara? You should. You should.
What are you doing? That's extravagant.
Celebrate you. I also take myself to the toy store
Yeah.
on my birthday and I buy myself my inner child a toy. I'm like, which toy would I have loved when I was a kid? And I don't even let my kids play with it.
Yeah.
I probably
What's
should.
yours?
I'm like, that's my toy.
Or yeah. So if you know me, I'm huge into Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Huge. My house has lots of Nightmare Before Christmas stuff in it. And a few years ago, they came out with these huge Nightmare Before Christmas squishmallows, like the
Ooh.
largest squishmallows that you can get. And they had them at Costco, but they didn't have all of them. So I got Jack, I got Sally. And then as we were leaving Costco one time, someone had returned Oogie Boogie and they were putting it on the shelf. And I went, wait, 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 can I buy that? And they're like, no. I was like, really? And he goes, no, of course you can. Come buy it. And I was like, okay.
You're like, oh.
And then we went to Denver and we went to Costco in Denver and I got zero. So it's like this whole adventure to collect all of that
Yeah,
crap.
how fun.
And they're just up on the shelf in my closet because they're so big. I don't really have like a place to display them. So they're being displayed in my closet. I see them every time I go in there.
Yeah.
So over the Halloween weekend, my 19-year-old daughter had friends over. They got ready. They went to a concert. They went to a party. They did the whole thing and it's really cool. I walk into my closet and 3 of my Squishmallows are not in my closet. I'm a 46-year-old woman.
Ruh-roh.
It's okay. But I looked at my husband and I was like, where are my Squishmallows?
Where are my toys? Where my pillows at?
Yeah, he looks at me and he goes, what do you mean? I go, they're not up here. And he
Somebody's
goes,
in trouble.
well, there's only one other person that lives in this house. And I was like, I know. If they're ruined, I'm going to be so
You're like texting, you're like,
mad.
where my pillows? You bring those back right now, young lady.
And then I go in the bathroom and I'm getting ready and my hairspray is gone. And I'm like, this child just takes things like they're hers. Anyway, I know that's how mothers and daughters are and it's fine. But the initial is like, why are you taking my things?
I know. I may not have to deal with that because I don't have daughters, but who knows? I mean, maybe my sons will be that way.
They
I have
still
no idea.
find things.
Yeah.
To
I
take.
did find a bottle of my little my opals in my son's sock drawer, and I was like, this is mine. Why do you have this in your sock drawer? And he was like, I was like, mine. Mommy's crystals. Mine. I have a little apothecary cabinet with all these little, just the little, what do you call those? The little ones for the intention bottles. Yeah. But they're like separated out, like all different things.
I'm envisioning Sally's.
Yeah. Like the potion.
Yeah. Her potion cabinet.
I'm trying to,
frog's
it's
breath.
that aesthetic. I'm trying to, make my house just a little witchy shop and only it's my house.
I know. But yeah, I get it. Like that's sometimes you just don't cross those boundaries. Those are mine, okay?
My
I might not play with them, but that doesn't mean you can.
Yeah, I've started to let
So
my kids play with the Playmobil sets that I have collected over the years. But there's still a small part of me that's like, "Well, don't mix up the pieces.
don't lose anything.
Those are the schoolhouse pieces. And then this one's the horse whatever, horse stables pieces or
Yes.
whatever." I love Playmobil. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but I felt like where was this when I was a kid? I didn't have Playmobil stuff when I was a kid, and I always wanted to play with stuff that moved and you could move the little
Oh,
pieces. I was a figurine, imaginative worlds kind of kid.
yeah.
So my kids don't play like that as much as I do. They mostly break stuff.
Yeah. I don't know if that's just because they're boys or,
Maybe a little bit.
but
I've
yeah.
tried. I've tried to be like, this is how we be gentle. Please don't put holes in my walls. Things like that.
And then you have to
So,
ground yourself and be like,
yeah, I know. I was
"Oh."
going to say back to grounding. Back to grounding. And then I ground. But really, just to wrap it up with grounding, I think that you can deal with stuff, stressful things like your kids breaking stuff. No, I mean, but I think interactions with people, I've had some ego and pride pokes, shall we say,
Mm.
jabs over the last couple of weeks, where there's just moments where I'm like, wait, am I a terrible person?
Nobody likes
Nobody likes me. And I know that's not true, but also these moments just kind of like highlight like insecurities I already have. So it kind of makes you feel poked in all your little buttons. I like to
Mhm.
call them like those sticky spots in our ego that you know when they've been poked because you start to question yourself and doubt yourself and you're like, okay, this really hurts. It really hurts. So I've had a couple moments like that. And I think when grounding can be a really, really wonderful technique to come back to. It's not about me. And even I don't have to take that personally. I can take the feedback, I can take the criticism, and I can learn from it. And I can say, well, there's maybe some things I could have done better, or maybe next time I'll do this or whatever. But I do think that when it penetrates that into like a space where you're like, "Oh, no, I just can't get out of bed in the morning. I don't know what to do with myself." You can utilize grounding as a tool to come back to, this is who I really am. What they said about me or what they did really isn't going to or doesn't need to affect that.
Mm.
Like who I really am at my core. Come back to myself.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what crystals are great for that.
So we're going to talk about red jasper. Um, in the shop and online right now, I'm pretty limited on my selection of red jasper. I need to look for some more options. For me, grounding doesn't represent a red crystal for whatever reason. And I know this is actually really, really good for grounding.
Mm-hmm.
But so a lot of people will use red jasper for grounding. Um, it's a nurturing crystal believed to promote grounding, stability, and emotional balance. It is thought to have a calming effect on the mind and body, reducing stress and anxiety, and promoting a sense of tranquility and security. It can help with deepening focus and concentration. So that really goes with all the things that we've been talking about when we're feeling disassociated or avoidance or things like that. When our emotions are out of balance, then this can help bring us grounded and balance those emotions. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a really great one for that. I tend to lean more towards the black crystals. And I think that's just, it feels more powerful to me and connects me more to my root and being centered. So I chose to talk about shungite. This one is a little less known, a little more kind of
Mm-hmm.
on the outskirts of the crystal world. It's becoming more well known. And you can get it from a couple of different places. So these pieces that I have here are Russian shungite, and that's where they first found shungite was in Russia.
Mm.
It's a carbon-based mineral, so it's very light. It's just really light. So for me, it's a little different. I like the grounding crystals that like boom, like just hit me and like pull me center. But these ones are really good too. So shungite is known as a healing stone, cleansing your aura from negative energies and bringing relief from stress, insomnia, and anxiety. as a detoxifying stone, it helps boost your immune system and energy levels. So it's really good for a lot of that, but it's also really
Mhm.
good for blocking EMF. So I have
Mm.
these little shungite phone stickers. So you put them on the back of your phone
Yeah.
you can put
Ooh,
it on your phone or your case, and it blocks those EMF. So if you have like a Wi-Fi router, it's good to put a big chunk of shungite next to that. Your microwave, places like that that emit those EMF that
Yeah.
can enter your auric field and kind of cause some negativity to happen. So
That's awesome.
these ones are really good for that too, bringing you centered and grounded and then helping relieve
Yeah, and I love that on the card it says for chakras all,
all chakras for the
because
shungite.
it's
Yeah.
that like whole again, just pulling you down, pulling you
Mm,
through all of those balance, like all the colors that you were seeing as you're
hmm hmm
meditating
Yeah.
in the sun.
It's, yeah. So yeah, it's a really good one.
I have
There's
this.
a
This
lot
is
of options, but
from my collection. I just grabbed I often use this as a paperweight because it's
it's a good, heavy,
good,
thick
heavy,
one.
thick. Yeah. And it kind of has traveled all over my house. I kind of love it because it's like this little companion, but um it's heavy and big. It's ocean jasper, right?
Hmm
So it's got the green and the red,
hmm
like in different parts of it.
It's
But
very
I
earthy
just,
looking. It
oh
looks
yeah.
like dirt and
This is what I think
trees.
of when I think of like we were made of clay. I think of this
Mm,
color and
mhm,
like how we could be like pulled from the clay of the riverbeds that are red and just molded into our bodies. And
mm,
that's what I imagine in my mind is
yeah,
going on there. So my body calls to it. It's
yeah,
like, bring me back.
yeah. That one is very earthy. So when you talk about earthing, I think that's where you're
Mm-hmm.
connected to that one. As you were leaving your
Mm-hmm.
house, you're like, this
Mm-hmm.
baby. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that idea. All the babies. All the babies. I need to get all my crystals out actually and just like do another good sorting because I've
Mhm,
got them kind of a little everywhere. And then I have like one container that I have them all in that I can pull from. But I love to just sit, like pull them all out, categorize them,
mhm.
give them a little attention, give them a little energy and love,
Yeah,
make some crystal grids.
yeah. Now's a good time with the full moon um, cycle that we're going
Yeah.
through right now is a really good time to
Mm.
recharge and cleanse those crystals.
Yeah, my body, I am noticing over the last couple of years as I track the moon cycles, because I don't have a physical cycle that women typically do. Don't have that obvious cycle to go by, but I track just like how do I feel, what, sort of things come up at different cycles of the moon. And I'm realizing that the full moon is my like hard time.
Get very emotional.
Emotional, stressed, I'm more like annoyed. Like it would be like PMS if I still had PMS. I don't know. I mean, there's probably some kind of spike in hormones or something going on during that time, which is actually a spike in testosterone for those who don't know. So when you're PMSing, you're most like a man. I'm just going to point that out because we've gotten a lot of flack over the generations
Yes.
about how we act during our time of the month. And it's actually like, hey, isn't it interesting that I'm acting the most like a man? So yeah, full moon is I really tried to start, I don't know, looking at the calendar and being like, so if the full moon is kind of my hard time, I need to kind of isolate myself a little bit, not plan things and not go out and not do as much and um take it easy on myself so that
Yeah.
I can just maybe save myself from other people and save
Them from you?
them from me a little bit.
Yeah, I've learned that, like, I've been having these conversations with another friend of mine who's also awakening, right? Like, we've been friends since we were 12.
I love the
So we've been talking to each other about like the full moon. Well, guess what? It's not just the actual full moon, it's the waxing gibbous. It's that energy
Mm-hmm.
because as the moon is getting brighter and filling the sky, it is actually amplifying the energy. And those of us that are sensitive to it will
Yeah.
feel that, right? So for me, when the moon
Mm-hmm.
is growing, when it's becoming full, it's not just on the full moon, it's It's that amplifying of the energy. It's the growing of the energy, and it affects me. So
Yeah.
being aware, and I'll start to feel it, and I'll go, "Where's the moon at?"
Yeah.
I'll look at my phone or
I
whatever.
know.
At 87%, I'm like, "Yep, okay. I need to be grounded. I need to be aware. I need to understand that I at this point during the moon cycle that I tend to amplify those energies myself because they
Mhm.
are naturally being amplified." So again, it's just being aware and
Yeah.
going,
Because I
okay,
do think that it affects everybody a little bit differently. Actually, I think we should do a whole episode on the moon
oh, we
cycles.
should, yes.
Because now that we're talking about it, I'm like, there's a lot there that we could
Mm-hmm.
talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But for today, we'll wrap it up with the grounding
Yes,
and say it works.
it works.
Go do it.
Find a practice that
Don't
works for
question.
you.
Yeah. Find the crystals that work for you,
Mm-hmm.
and you can always check with a crystal guide if you have questions. So reach out
Yeah.
to this crystal guide if you have questions about, like, well, what about, if it's something in particular that maybe red jasper or shungite doesn't speak to you, but there's so many options and so many cool things uh for that
Yeah.
to help you.
Also, I wanted to say, if you're listening, if you're watching, and you have a grounding practice that we haven't talked about that you
Mm.
want to share with us, and not just with us, but with other people, we would love to hear about it.
Oh, for
So
sure.
drop a comment, send us a
Yeah,
message.
we'll give you a shout out. We'll be
Yeah.
like, so and so wrote in and said
So this works for
this works for
them.
them. I would love that.
I would love that too, because
Please
a
do.
lot of times it's just us talking about our life and our experience, and I love doing this. I love sharing the information, but I know that there's a lot more out there too. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what I love about the space is when people come in and they say something along the lines of, "Oh, I like that you do that. I do it this way."
Mm-hmm.
And I go, "Oh, that sounds really cool. Maybe I'll try that and see if it works for me too." So it's a sharing of information. It's creating a community of experience, right? Life experience, things that I've tried, things that you've tried, maybe things that other people out there that have tried. Let's share the information together. Let's open the conversation.
Absolutely.
It could be
Yeah.
fun.
And if it's not about grounding, just write in your questions anyway.
Yeah.
It's great
If there's
fuel
something,
for new topics and conversations we're going to have in future episodes. So,
yeah, if there's something that we have talked about that you want us to readdress, if there's something that we haven't talked about that you want to hear about, or that you want to share an experience, and then we can put it in an episode, I think that would be really cool too.
yeah.
So,
I would also love to have a place on the website where we just have like little snippets of like things that people have wrote in.
mm-hmm, that would be really
I'm going
cool.
to get on that.
Yeah.
Start creating that.
So check out the website. Check out check out Rising Moon Minerals, risingmoonminerals.com. We're on Instagram, Rising Moon Minerals. We're on TikTok at Rising Moon Minerals. And yeah,
Yep. Look for that little lotus flower in the logo.
yeah,
And you'll know you've got the right spot. But it always comes up when I search it. So,
yeah. There's not a whole lot of Rising Moon Minerals out there. So if you put those 3 words in the search bar,
it'll come up.
it'll come up. Google brings us up, all of the different Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll find us.
Yeah. You can order stuff online too.
Yes.
And then you can find me, Prism Healing. I am on my website is prism-healing.com and my Instagram prism_healing or prism_healing. And I do have a couple of things coming up in November. I've kind of cleared my schedule for November and December because I had a lot going on in October. So I was just like, let's get into this next phase and the season with some peace. But I decided to slap on a Healing Through Art workshop that we're doing on November 19th. That I am offering 2 options. So you can come in person. There's 6 spots open for that if you live locally here in South Jordan or thereabouts, close by. But I also have a virtual option for anybody. So if you're a person who maybe hosts retreats, I would love for you to come and do that Healing Through Art workshop so you can see what it is and see what I do, because I would love to be invited to do that at retreats. I think it's very unique and I think people would love it. A lot of people do sound baths at retreats and different kinds of things, but I don't know anybody that does exactly what I do. So if you happen to host retreats, come to my Healing Through Art. And then we are doing couple of Sunshine Community events so that you can go to that sunshinecommunity.life. Sunshine Community is a sponsor of the show, and we thank them for creating events that we can all go to and have fun at. If you live around here, usually locally.
Yeah.
And then we'll also thank Ride the Wave Media. Yes, I said it right this time. Ride the Wave Media produces this podcast. So thank you, Jess Blaine, and go check out his show, Blaine's World. It's a lot of fun. And he talks about a lot of stuff, a lot of different things. Some things I don't know anything about. So I'm listening like, what is this? But it's a lot of fun to watch. So go check it out. And that's it for today. So we'll see you next time. Go make magic, witches and wizards.